G'day guys. Right, now I've heard on the radio lately, and yeah, I'm doing the day of ringing up people. I've heard on the radio lately ads on the rock about tax crime. I'll insert it here.
It's just the odd PowerPoint or switch I don't declare.
I keep the cash I get for scrap metal off the books. That's all good.
I just do an odd bit of plastering under the table. It's not like it's a crime.
Actually, these guys are committing tax crime. At Inland Revenue, we're looking hard at undeclared cash jobs. You could be hit with tax penalties or criminal convictions that could lead to prison. So declare it all or risk everything. To find out more, visit ird.govt.nz/get-it-right.
This is a reality program bucking the trend. It's about the wonderful world of tax refunds, not baking, dating or renovating. And this young lady's keen on mytax.co.nz.
Nearly 1 million Kiwis have paid too much tax. Good chance you'll get a refund if you go online to mytax.co.nz. Their only reason for existence is to reunite you with your money. Couldn't you just hug them?
Heartwarming.
What bullshit!
How's that for a dose of reality?
So, my question is, they're saying not declaring tax is a crime, where the actual action of making a declaration in the first place is a voluntary action. And you people are only, when I say you people, I mean the yous within the society of New Zealand, and all the other nations around the world are all paying your taxes thinking that you are obliged in some way, because you all think you're persons within societies instead of just a man or a woman on earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring up the IRD, the Inland Revenue Department, and hopefully strike a man or a woman on the other end of the phone and ask them what crime and what legislative act or rule says that I'm obliged to do anything. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ring them up. We'll just ask them a few questions. Why? Because I fucking felt like it. Right. Just because I can. 0800 225
Welcome to the Inland Revenue Anonymous Information Line. The best way to report evasion and fraud is to go online to www.ird.govt.nz/anonymous. Are you calling to report suspicious activity?
No.
Please say or the IRD number you are calling about, or just say, I don't have it.
I don't have it.
So I can put you through to the right place, I need to know briefly what you're calling about. Please tell me how I can help you today.
Tax crime advertisement.
What tax type or service are you calling about? For example, you can say income tax, child support, or the name of another tax type or service.
Income tax.
Which of these would you like? Refund from a tax return, an income tax return, to make a payment, or is it something else?
Something else. It's called a question.
Are you self-employed or a business owner?
Nope.
Please hold and I'll transfer you to someone who can help.
Fantastic.
Hi, you're speaking with Jess. How can I help?
Hey Jess, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm hoping you can answer a quick question for me. On the rock radio station, I've heard on the radio a few ads about tax crimes and tax refunds and all sorts of jazz. And I've done quite a bit of study online and offline on different things in regards to taxes. I've been told from the line that you don't actually have to pay tax, that it's a voluntary action, and that you aren't actually obliged in any way, shape or form, and that the fact that you declare it is in fact your confession that you owe it in the first place. So I'm curious, when I hear on the radio the words tax crime, and to me a crime is involving harm, loss or injury, where is there an injured party if someone doesn't declare something?
It's more of if you're like have self-employed income and you don't declare it to us. If you are found out you have it, you need to. It could end up in a court case.
Okay, so the threat of court action, basically, if you don't declare it.
Yeah.
But has there actually ever been anybody prosecuted for not paying?
I wouldn't know.
So there's no actual court case you could refer me to where that has actually occurred or happened. It's just the threat of it.
Well, we do hope that everyone's been honest to us and declaring all their income.
Well, honesty swings both ways, and I ask a few questions from government officials and agents and such, and I really don't get an honest answer back. I get a best guess or an opinion, but I don't really get many factual answers, so I tend to like to look back to the legislation or the statutory instrument that's being used to give whatever it is force and effect. So, like I say, what obligation does any man or woman have, and I'm not saying a person, I mean what obligation does any man or woman have to pay anything that of their sweat equity? You know, their earnings. You know, money can be more than just folding denominations. Money is anything of value. So that's my question first off, is there a law stating that any man or woman is obliged in any way to pay tax of any form?
It is law to pay tax.
Is it law or is it legislation? Like, legislation is a legislative rule of society given the force of law. So, you know, legislation is what this is all backed up by. I take it you're going to say an act of some sort. So an enactment is a written legislation. It's not law. It's given the force of law. It can't be law. It can't be given the force of itself. If you get my drift. You know, there's other laws. There's natural law, universal law, contract law, feudal law, family law. There's about 30 different types of law.
Yeah.
So I'm asking for the statutory instrument, the legislative act, that states that a man or woman is obliged in any way to pay tax.
Well, what I might do is transfer you to my support team who knows more about this than me.
Sure. Anyone that's legally trained would be awesome because they'd understand the language.
Yeah, I'll put you through now.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for holding. So that took a while.
No trouble.
So I've just spoken with my support team. They have advised that it'd be easier if you just read it on our website. If you go to ird.govt.nz, on the tab that says individuals and families, there's all the information you'll need to know about paying tax and all your obligations.
Yeah, but that doesn't give me any answer. I've looked through that. It doesn't say anything about a man or woman be obliged to do anything. It states that persons and individuals are, but I'm just saying as a man or a woman, do we have to?
Yes, you do.
I do.
Law and it is in legislation.
Okay.
Also, if you type in tax evasion in our search bar or even on Google, it will come up with all the cases and all your obligations.
Okay, so I get this straight then. So if I'm just a man working and I get given something, I have to give you guys some part of it.
Yes, so you've just put it as self-employed income or other income, and then we'll work out how much tax you need to pay on it.
Yeah, but do you understand the difference that I'm trying to make here? The difference between a man and a person? I mean, I wouldn't be representing as a natural or a legal person within a society called New Zealand as a tax agent or as a voluntary tax servant. I'm just having my own sweat equity. What I make with my own two hands is mine. So unless I have registered my person as a voter or elector on the electoral roll, no legislative rule of society has any force and effect over myself or person. So for you to say that a man or woman has to give another man or woman stuff without there being any contractual obligation, and if I'm just being a man or woman, there is no contract because you can only be contracted through the person or the persona. So what I'm saying is if I choose not to represent the person and I just be present on Earth as a man and not in any society known as New Zealand, because you know New Zealand's actually a company. It's registered on the American Stock Exchange. If you look up SEC, you'll find a company called Her Majesty's Right of New Zealand. It's registered as the New Zealand Stock Exchange and on the American one. So, you know, I don't see why I should have to do it. And from what I've understood, it's upon the declaration that people are told to read something, and if they think they understand it, then they're therefore obliged to do it. So I'm asking for clarification because, I mean, I didn't write this legislative rules. I'm not legally trained, and I need it translated into a comprehensible English form for me. So if I could give you another example, if I go to look up what the definition of the word person means in legislation, I go to the Interpretations Act 1999, section 30, and it states a person is a body, corporate, unincorporated body or corporation soul. None of those three things are a man or a woman.
So you being an individual of New Zealand, you live in New Zealand, you're a tax resident of New Zealand.
I live in my body, I live on New Zealand, and the smallest words are the most defining. I don't live anything other than my body.
Yes, but you still live in New Zealand.
I live on New Zealand. New Zealand, the landmass. I don't live in any country. I live on the landmass, the continent. And this is the ambiguity I'm speaking of. I mean, you're thinking that I'm a person who lives in New Zealand.
You are.
I am just a man living on Earth, and I choose not to represent myself. In other words, go back and make myself present as a person. I'm just a man. So, if there's no joinder being, like for instance, the word you is a plural. You're saying you are obliged to pay tax. Well, you is, because you is the joinder between the man and the person. Now I'm saying me, myself and I, not you, me, myself and I do not have to pay tax. And I'm asking for another man or woman to show me some written contract stating that I do. So pointing me to the website and saying go and read it, well, it doesn't matter because I didn't author the document, and I need to know the interpretation of the words in the documentation from the author's perspective. What I think the words mean doesn't matter. I need to know from the author's perspective what these words mean.
So it still means you live in New Zealand, you are...
I live on New Zealand.
...resident. Everything you earn, any income you receive, you need to declare it to us.
Yep, I get that. I get that if I choose to be a person within the society...
You don't choose. You don't choose whether or not you pay tax. You have to pay tax on everything you earn.
Yeah, okay. It is a choice whether or not I wish to be a citizen of New Zealand. Is that right?
Yes, still, if you're earning income in New Zealand, you have to...
You're telling me I have to. You're saying I don't have a choice in the matter.
You don't.
Really? So I don't have it. So
everything.
The fact that I'm standing here on Earth and I choose not to represent myself as a person within any legal or lawful society, and I'm just equal to yourself, a woman, because we're all equal.
Same for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's not the same for everybody. I lay a bet the people in Kathmandu in India don't have to do the same rules as New Zealand. So
every tax system is different. Every country has different rules.
Exactly. Every country. Now, I'm just a man on the continent. I'm not working in the country. I mean, would you meet me in the tree, or would you meet me at the tree, or on the tree? I'm not in anything other than my own body. So, for me and the differences here between present and represent. I'm present as a man on Earth, and whether I choose to represent myself as a person within a society is my question. Now, my understanding is that I have a natural person, the birth certificate that mum and dad signed me up for when I was born. Now that's my persona that I can represent within New Zealand as, but I don't have to. I don't have to register. Register meaning signing over legal title ownership. I do not have to register a person within anything. It's a free society, isn't it? Don't I have free will? Or do I have to do everything a government tells me to do? Because, government is only created by man acting upon words written on a piece of paper. Government doesn't exist. It's
law.
Sorry?
It's still the law.
It's not the law, it's legislation.
Well, there is a law that you have to pay tax, and it's also in legislation. You are living in New Zealand.
I am living on New Zealand. I am not living in New Zealand. I live on it.
It's the same thing.
It is not the same thing.
England.
It's not. It's. You might think it's a semantic argument, but it isn't. It is not the same thing. Can you prove that I am living in anything other than my body? Can you?
So you think because
I'm saying that
you don't need to pay tax and you're different from everyone else in New Zealand?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Absolutely not. I would be more than happy to pay any tax if I could have someone please show me where I'm obliged to. But I'm not going to just blindly do it without doing my due diligence and finding out whether I'm obliged. There's a movie on YouTube you should watch called Freedom from Fascism. It's made by a world-renowned producer called Aaron Russo, who's no longer with us. He's dead. But he actually did years and years of study over in America to see if they had to pay tax. There is no tax law or legislation stating that a man or a woman has to, because a man and women are not recognised legally. You have to be recognised as a person. Now, I know I'm a man, and I know that the word person has been made ambiguous. There are 5 different types of persons recognised, legally speaking, in legislation. And I'm none of those things. I'm a man. So, should I choose not to represent or register my person as a voter or elector within New Zealand, then there's no obligation. And the theory that I have to make a declaration, well, a declaration is something that I'm freely declaring. So, like for instance, anything I earn is not income, unless I call it income. It's my sweat equity. It's my hard labour. So, who is any other man to say that I have to give them some of it? Unless it's through threat. Like you said, you get court action. It's a threat and coercion. You know, if I went up to anyone and said, give me money and pulled a gun or a threat of court action, I'd be arrested. But it's okay for the government to do that to me? Because I don't live under coercion. So I need some clarification. Now, you're saying that you have to, and I'm saying me, myself, and I don't. And I'm not acting as you.
Okay, well, you can take this problem up with your local MP if you like.
Do you know who my local MP is? Well, who my person's local MP is? Should I choose to vote, which I haven't, and I'm not even registered, it's John Key. You know how much chance I've got of going and seeing him? Last time I got anywhere near him, I was assaulted by one of his Secret Servicemen on film. It's on YouTube. So, you take it up with the local MP, but John Key's got no greater authority over myself than me. What's he going to do? He's just a man like me. He's equal before the law, isn't he? Right, then what's taking it up with me going to do? I mean, it's just this whole theory that you have to do what the government says. Government was set up to secure property of man for man. It wasn't made to tell the citizens or citizens what to do and to guide the sheeple around. You know, I'm just a man, and it's unfortunate that everybody, sounds like yourself included, have this mentality that you're persons in a society. You're not. You're just a man or a woman. You lose so much of your standing. Like, for instance, when you capitalise yourself, you're actually diminishing your status. So, I don't know. It sounds like the answer is just go online, read it, and take my own opinion. And if I believe I have to, so be it. But you can't give me any court case or reference where the IRD hit...
To Google tax evasion New Zealand,
yeah,
and it'll come with court cases which it has been very localised and publicised on TV.
Okay.
It's more of if you're have self-employed income and you don't declare it to us. If you are found out you have it, it could end up in a court case.
Okay, so the threat of court action, basically, if you don't declare it.
Yeah.
But has there actually ever been anybody prosecuted for not paying?
I wouldn't know.
So there is actually a court case that's been upheld where somebody's had to pay tax.
Yeah, there's been several, and it's been on the news.
You can't give me the name of any? Just
go
on YouTube and have a look.
YouTube or Google.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll research more. But
okay.
Yeah, to my understanding, there's no obligation, and unfortunately, you haven't given me any proof otherwise. So yeah, that's a shame. All right, thank you very much.
Is it all I can help you with?
Yep, you have a great day, eh?
You too.
Appreciate it. Bye.